Hey everybody, Maddie here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a great weekend. In this video, we analyze some of the possible issues we might face in the event of further price drops for Bitcoin. And we also discuss some of the big issues being faced by Bitcoin mining and that entire industry. You're going to want to watch to the end of the video because we have a very interesting topic for you that we'll address toward the end. And of course, if you like these kinds of videos and if you like information on Bitcoin and blockchain and cryptocurrency, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. Subscribe to Altcoin Buzz on YouTube and leave us a comment. We also give away a CryptoTag Zeus starter kit every week to one lucky winner. All right, taking a look at the markets today, we're kind of flat, more or less, versus yesterday, $154.2 billion right now, total market cap. Bitcoin is still kind of settling into this range, mid-ish 5,000s, $5,371 at the time of this recording. Things either down 1%, maybe up 1% or 2%, but that's where we are. Dominance right now at 63.7%. Early last week, seemingly Bitcoin's network was very strong. The price was settling into a range somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000, and we were well on our way to the halving event, which is something that happens on the Bitcoin blockchain, which increases the cost of production. So the most bullish thing that we can still discuss is the fact that the network still remains very strong despite some of the negative price action we've been seeing. More mining firms and operations keep the Bitcoin network centralized, and the higher the number of mining machines means Bitcoin's blockchain security increases as a network. Decentralization and network security are the two fundamentals that give its network value and also gives the rest of the fundamentals value. These fundamentals being as Bitcoin being a store of value, Bitcoin being unconfiscatable, Bitcoin being Web 2.0, and Bitcoin being peer-to-peer digital cash. Though the Bitcoin network remains still very strong at the moment, it seems some of the bigger mining firms are having a big problem continuing operation. The goal here is obviously not to spread FUD, not in the least actually. This is just an analysis. Obviously, I and everyone at Altcoin Buzz are ourselves invested in cryptocurrency, as you can imagine, for really the long haul, and we've been invested for a long time. We will be discussing an extremely bullish fundamental scenario in a bit, but before that, let's see the issues we are currently dealing with and that we have observed. So, I recently believed that a drop to around $6,000 could be likely, but a drop to $3,800, that was an experience that has made us reanalyze some of the fundamentals we had taken perhaps for granted, and though not expected, it is something to be aware of. We were unable to find much information for any of the big Asian or Chinese firms, but we have some concerns when we read the release of one of Canada's biggest mining operations, who also gets some of the cheapest electricity. And in fact, here is the organization that we're talking about, Hut 8, and their official response to the coronavirus or the COVID-19 pandemic, which has fueled some of the price concerns and some of the market volatility, no doubt. Here is an important highlight from this press release. To combat the significant drop in the price of Bitcoin over the last 48 hours, Hut 8 is optimizing its mining operations by running its mining equipment in cost-efficient modes. This has the ability to reduce its electricity consumption and costs by approximately 50%, while only reducing the hash rate output by approximately 35%. While this optimization reduces total output, the overall margin is maximized and our costs are reduced. This is being performed in real time on a 24/7 basis. Management is monitoring the movement in the price of Bitcoin relative to operating costs to either further curtail production or increase production. And this is a unique advantage of Hut 8, that its electricity supply agreements and equipment allows for its reduction in consumption. There is a little bit more detail if you want to get into this specific press release, but let's say the meat of the message here is that they're having to take kind of unprecedented and kind of drastic actions to remain viable economically in light of these wildly fluctuating prices. So we'll go over the other article in just a second, but it seems like many of these big mining firms, like we will discuss, Hut 8, for example, has not sold their Bitcoin, but instead they've taken a loan in their Bitcoin holdings as collateral in hopes that halving will drive Bitcoin price to new highs and not expecting a major drop in Bitcoin price until then. However, the future is uncertain at this point. It seems like the black swan event of Friday the 13th, 2020 has really affected the holdings of these firms mining Bitcoin and making them lose a chunk in liquidation of assets. So, assuming the price falls even lower, which is unfortunately a possibility, and assuming many of the big mining firms can no longer sustain business, the hash rate of Bitcoin could fall dramatically and could also affect the network drastically. So we hope you understand the issue here. As margins have shrunk, many of these Bitcoin mining firms have opted, instead of selling Bitcoin, to take a loan with Bitcoin as collateral. They intended to sell at a profit after the Bitcoin halving, but that may or may not be the case any longer, and they're choosing to take out these debts. This article here on simplywall.st explains it quite well. However, the current price drop has led them to lose, or most likely lose, their Bitcoin at a much bigger loss, and we hope this is not the case with most mining firms, but unfortunately it is with some. The one thing you can do, and if it is feasible for you, do some Bitcoin mining. It should help our network. If everybody just contributes on an individual level, it'll still add up collectively and on the whole. It's not going to be profitable at the moment, but if a lot of us do this, it might help in case there are some big issues down the road. Again, the possibility of things getting worse is out there, and it's a bleak prospect, but the reason we analyze situations is to be aware and to be prepared after all. So the real test of Bitcoin is unfolding before our eyes. If the Bitcoin hash rate still remains as strong as we would like to see it, and if the price fluctuations keep most of the mining operations working even for about a month post-halving, then we have gone through the tough part. And it's safe to say that the Bitcoin network is of immense value, and that it's been through its test of tests, so to speak. It's passed muster. So this test will be the best proof of Bitcoin's value and strength for decades to come, and really a true reason to strengthen your belief in the value, the technology, the network, and really everything else that surrounds Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Time will tell right now. In fact, we're coming up here on a chart of the hash rate, which, as I've mentioned, really has steadily grown for months and months now, despite really insane swings in volatility in the market. It's always been a leading indicator. That's what I've always said. So if we can maintain a relatively high hash rate, that's going to be the key to victory, in my opinion. Let us know what you think about all this. Let us know if you're already mining in the comments below. Let's end here on a more positive note. At Bitcoin Jack Sparrow, maybe you missed it, but I think this thread makes a compelling bull case. I could be wrong. In validation, W1 less than $3,850, and being wrong would hurt since I am taking significantly more risk than I generally accept. I am putting money where my mouth is. Chart by Ken Z. Board. In a nutshell, this is looking at the classic bull market, bear market, cyclical graph where you have different phases of collective, I suppose, psychology. And the idea right now is that we've come out of a depression phase. There was a movement to the upside that was too good to be true. We're now correcting for that, and people kind of don't know whether or not we're going lower, whether we're going higher. It is possible that we'd be going higher, but unfortunately, I guess to play devil's advocate for just a moment, this is not sort of all else being equal right now. The context of the lowered prices, of really the horrible price retracements, is the fact that we have not only an oil war in the form of Saudi Arabia versus Russia, but we also have this pandemic that seems to be, if I'm going to be candid, seems to be worsening every day. So it's not really an everything else being equal scenario. It's a scenario where you have a lot of external factors that are toxic and that are poisoning the psyche in the Bitcoin community. So I would like to believe this is the case. Over time, I think it'll play out in this manner. In the meantime, however, we are hurting, and that's just the nature of the beast at this moment. Let us know your thoughts about it, as always, in the comments below. But that about wraps it up for today, everybody. Have a great tail end to your weekend. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels, and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications if you've enjoyed this video. If you didn't win our Crypto Tag Zeus starter kit yesterday, well, then to be eligible for our next prize, you got to be subscribed to Altcoin Buzz on YouTube. You got to like our videos, and you got to comment on our videos. Have a great one, everybody. Best of luck if you choose to invest, and have a great tail end to your weekend and a great Sunday. Take care.